Where in DC can you see world-class artists for free? The Library of Congress. They have presented live music in one of the city's most iconic spaces for more than 100 years. Join them for more than 25 concerts and events, from classical music to jazz, Broadway, popular music, and more. Tickets are available now at loc.gov/concerts. See a show that's sold out? Don't sweat it. The library offers day of rush passes to all performances. See what's coming up at loc.gov/concerts.
Today on CityCast DC, happy February. There is a lot of ice out there. And for once, we mean that in the literal sense, not the political one. But we are here to warm you up with ideas, everything from show openings to hot new restaurants, so that you can have the absolute best February possible in DC. I'm here with my CityCast colleagues, Bridget Todd and Kayla Cote-Stemmerman. It's Monday, February 2nd. I'm Michael Schaefer. Here's what DC's talking about. Hello, CityCast co-host Bridget Todd.
Hey, Mike. Happy February.
Happy February to you, too. And hello, CityCast newsletter, writer, editor, and star, Kayla Cote-Stemmerman.
Hi.
So do you guys like February? It's a month with its doubters.
Ew. No.
I don't really mind February. I think it's the month where you can sort of start thinking about the winter. I don't like winter, so it's the month where I feel like you can just start thinking about, well, we're through the holidays, we're through January, we're right around the corner on this thing. Yeah, I don't mind it that much. I also really like Valentine's Day. I know that's an unpopular opinion. I'm not one of those people who hates Valentine's Day.
Explain your affection for Valentine's Day.
Oh, it's easy. When I was a kid, I disliked candy, and it was just a day where there was abundant candy. I did not think about it any further than that, and that held over to adulthood.
Oh, me too. But the Valentine's Day candy, particularly as a kid, is not like, we're not talking like
bottom
elite
tier,
Dubai chocolate here. Maybe Bridget had better suitors than me.
It's like those lint hearts and stuff.
I've always had a soft spot for those chalky antacids with the words on them.
No, Bridget.
I remember being in second or third grade or something. And the rule was if you were going to give Valentine's to anyone in the class, you had to give Valentine's to everyone in the class. And there were 21 kids in my class. And I only had 20 Valentines. And I counted and counted, could not figure out who I had left out.
So what'd you do?
Well, then I realized that the 21st person was myself.
Story.
So here on CityCast, we do these monthly guides for people who are listening for the first time. Because part of what we do, in addition to talking about news and society and the stuff that is scaring people and the stuff that's exciting people, is try to be your guide, your service partner for DC, to steer you to where to go, what to eat, what's exciting, connect you to the city more. And looking forward at the month ahead is a way we do that.
And I think especially right now, as people are, it's very cold right now, but starting to kind of stop hibernation season, these guide episodes, at least for me, are particularly helpful.
All right. So on that, what are you guys into this month? What's on your calendars?
I can start. I think, I do this basically every February, but is Chinese Lunar New Year. It's the year of the horse. I'm the year of the rat, so that's not special to me. But there's a ton of events going on in town. The classic one is the one downtown in Chinatown, the parade. And it's on February 22nd this year, but it's just everybody comes out. There's a fireworks show in the middle of H Street, which you don't see every day. There's tons of food and restaurants. You can enjoy a meal. There's performers, all of that. It's obviously totally free and open to the public. Another one this year that I think is going to be great is on February 21st. It's at the National Museum of Asian Arts. This one you do have to register for, but it's still free. But I would recommend getting your tickets pretty early because I think it's going to be really popular. But it's basically a pop-up at the museum. There's line dances, food, performances, curator talks, tours through the museum all day. There's some really great stands that I'm looking forward to that you don't see every day, like Toy Moy Bakery. I don't know if you guys follow them on Instagram, but I'm completely obsessed with their pastries. They'll be there. Yeah.
They're a great Instagram follow. If you want to just be drooling.
Yeah, it's dangerous, though, because they rarely make an appearance anywhere that I am going to be present, so...
So Kayla's getting all the pastry. We know that
Yeah,
for sure.
basically it's mostly just pastry-based for me.
What about you, Bridget? What's on your calendar?
So every February, I try to do something to commemorate Black History Month. It's kind of gone from something I did begrudgingly. I grew up in a household that took Black History Month pretty seriously, which I think is a little bit unusual. My parents always were like, we have to do some sort of cultural thing to commemorate Black History Month. As I got older, I still carried that tradition forward, but a bit begrudgingly. But I think it was during a lot of the Trump takeover stuff, it really started to take on a more special meaning for me because, yeah, I think I took for granted living in a city like DC where you would always be able to find some interesting art or cultural thing. I really took that for granted. So I'm back in with the fervor. And as I was saying, living in DC, we are quite lucky that your average Black History Month commemoration thing goes beyond just go to a museum or just go to this event. There's all different kinds of ways you can commemorate Black History Month. I'm really looking forward to this thing that the National Park Service does, Walk with Woodson, which they have a I guess, a reenactor playing Carter Woodson, who was one of the founders of Black History Month, initially doing a walking tour.
He lived in Shaw.
Exactly. And so it's going to be on Saturday, February 21st from 10 to noon. Things like that. I think that there are more interesting ways to get into Black History Month than just, we went to this museum exhibit. I love a good museum exhibit, but it's just one of the things DC has to offer that I think other places maybe don't.
Well, what's on that tour? Because Carter G. Woodson was like a really amazing and impressive and hugely influential person. But when I think of any historian, a good one or a lousy one, I don't typically think of their life as involving exciting walks. They stroll to their research office and back. That's what historians do. What do you get to see on the Walk with Woodson?
Dr. Woodson, between you and me, I'm not sure if it's the real guy, leads visitors in a first-person narrative through the historic Logan Circle neighborhood and Shaw neighborhood. The script is actually derived from Dr. Woodson's actual words and experiences, and it will be highlighting notable figures and landmarks related to Black history.
All right, that sounds really interesting. Because I was worried it was going to be here's the nook where he did his reading of multiple volumes of books, and here's where he assembled his data in order to write history.
Considering they are hyping this up as a family fun event, I think that would make for some real disappointed kids. Hey, kids, ever seen a desk? Well, this is where he wrote his famous tracts.
So, Bridget, I'm kind of with you that there's a lot of stuff in Washington right now in this sort of very weird cultural moment in the Trump years where there's talk of reining in the content at the Smithsonian and the takeover of the Kennedy Center and things like that. There's a lot of stuff that was sort of hokey, let's celebrate diversity, which, who's against that? Well, now we know who's against that. And there's this sense of okay, Black History Month, which seemed like a completely unobjectionable thing, right? That even people who do not favor any measures to improve equality in the country were only so happy to, that was free, basically. They didn't have to give anything up to tip their hat to Black History Month. But now it is even something as sort of anodyne as that is in the crosshairs.
That's exactly how I feel. And I felt the same way about Pride. Everybody who knows me knows that I'm a Grinch about Pride. I don't like it. I think it's a corporate thing, and I don't really enjoy it. It doesn't always feel like a real expression of the radical tradition of the gay rights movement to me. But the last few years, I feel like I am forced to sort of say, no, this is ours. We need to protect it. And it's really shifted my mindset of these things that I had the privilege to be grouchy about or be flip about now seem so precious. And I think it's just a sign of where we are. I read that we're at the 1-year mark of all the attacks on federal workers with Doge. And God, it feels like we've been dealing with that for the longest time. But yeah, it's just really got a lot of it's really brought a lot of my feelings about what it means to live in DC and how we celebrate the things that make DC great, what that actually means and how we actually protect that. It's really been top of mind for me.
Right. So, and for me too. So when I looked out at the February calendar, I look at the programming at the Smithsonian Museums, at the National Gallery, at all the sort of federally owned or controlled institutions of culture, and it's like, when I see something, it's like, are they going to be able to do this for much longer? I mean, and we're still, it's only a year into the Trump administration. Most major gallery shows are planned way further in advance, so we're still in stuff that was planned earlier. But on February 13th at the American Art Museum, there is a big show called Mammoth of art by Nick Cave, and right there in the first sentence of the gallery's description, Nick Cave is renowned internationally for his work that surreally and seductively addresses issues of race, gender, and identity. Mammoth evokes the fraught past and precarious future of the American landscape, his own experience as a black man within it, et cetera, et cetera. This is like a legit, like, big deal in American art, but there's another part of me that's like, I wonder how much longer it'll be that they can do shows like that. And for all I know, they'll be able to keep doing it. They'll figure out a way. But that is a thing on the calendar this month. And I also want to go just to also sort of say, like, I want the American Art Museum and the whole rest of the Smithsonian to be able to do whatever curators think is interesting, because they're the ones who are supposed to be keeping us interested.
Yes, Mike, you were the one who I almost talked about it on a guide episode. I almost suggested it, and then you were like, "Oh, I suggested that last month," and I thought, "Oh, I'm repeating Mike's suggestion back at him because I heard it on the podcast." But you were the one who suggested that Black Arts photography exhibit, and amazing, phenomenal. But what's interesting is on the final day of that exhibit last month, on January 11th, they had lines like people. I've never seen anything like it. People had really queued up and really made it an intentional effort to see this thing before it left. Part of me wondered if they were going to re-up it for another week or something because of the demand. But I think that speaks to exactly what you're talking about, that people, living in a city that's been this cultural hotspot, and especially a place where you can see interesting Black art, interesting art from different voices and different perspectives, I think we are no longer taking that for granted. And I think it really shows. Right.
Just for the record, that same day, February 13th, there's an opening across the courtyard of the American Art Museum in the Portrait Gallery of photographs from Hollywood's golden age. This is the kind of thing that I don't think is particularly endangered, but I'm a sucker for that old, like, 1930s kind of and 40s glamour photography. At the National Children's Museum, it opened in late January, but it's on through the next few months. There is a Mo Willems exhibit. Do you guys know who Mo Willems is?
No.
So when my kids were little, they were really into "Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus," which is one of his finest. He's a writer of illustrated children's books that often feature the pigeon, and the pigeon is acerbic and out of control, unhinged. So the pigeon finds a hot dog was another hot Mo Willems title. But I think kids or people who have spent hours and hours and hours reading to them will dig that show.
When you were speaking about the pigeon, you had this twinkle in your eye. I just want to ask, do you identify with this pigeon, or do you feel like a kindred?
No, I just feel like I know every word out of that pigeon's mouth because I've read it so many times to sleepless, sleep-resistant young people. All right, so one other thing you can do in February is become a CityCast neighbor. That is our membership program. By joining, you get access to a lot of cool stuff. We do a lot of programming. We'll do talks, panel discussions, events focusing on the future of DC, on things to do in DC, events around town. But you also, more importantly, you support the work that we do. This is a pretty grim time for journalism. It's a pretty grim time, particularly for local journalism. And CityCast is here trying to connect people better to their city. And your contribution, your joining, makes a big difference to our ability to do that.
It makes me so sad to wake up and read about cuts at the Washington Post, layoffs. It's everywhere. I don't think I'm the only person who's experiencing that. And so, as you were saying, protecting and fostering local journalism in DC right now is just really important. And we're doing it at a time where it is being threatened by so many different things. And so, yeah, it is the time to protect and foster the local journalism that we all care about, that makes our city great.
Members get all sorts of perks. They get a newsletter every single week from me with great events from around the city. They get ad-free listening. It's $10 a month or $100 for the whole year. Basically the price of my latte every day. But please go to membership.citycast.fm to sign up. We would love to have you and would love to meet you at one of our next membership events.
Ready for discovery? South by Southwest is where the world's most curious, inspired, and eclectic minds gather to shape what's next. It's the ultimate gathering for the global creative community, where thought leaders, filmmakers, musicians, and other professionals across industries share the same space. Innovation, film and TV, music, and culture all collide when the 2026 South by Southwest conferences and festivals take over Austin, Texas, this March 12th through 18th. For one electric week, the city becomes a playground for boundary-pushing ideas, world premieres, and live performances that turn into beneficial experiences. Gain real access to new ideas, people, and opportunities that don't happen anywhere else. It's a citywide experience built on curiosity, connection, and the thrill of discovering something before everyone else. Start planning your adventure and secure your badge now at sxsw.com/DC.
Another thing we talk about every month is what we're going to eat. What's exciting for you all?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have been trying to get to this place. I don't know if it's Eby's or Ebby's. Kayla, you would know. Is it Ebby's? Eby's. Have you been?
Eby's. Yeah, you should go. It's worth the hype, I swear.
What is it? I don't know about it.
Basically, we did this really interesting episode about what's in and what's out in DC's dining scene. And one of the things that's really in is bars that do really good food. And I have seen photos of this cheeseburger they have there that looks fat and juicy and melty and delicious.
Fat.
Have you had it?
Yeah. It's very good. I mean, I think it's bar food, right? It's just a really good take on dive bar food. They have, like crinkle fries and these massive onion rings, banana splits, this burger. It's nothing you haven't had before, but it is really good. And there's something just about, especially it's been so cold, like sitting in this really cozy bar with all your neighbors. Everything is wood, and getting this fat burger and dry martini. It just really hits, Bridget.
Where is it?
It's in Shaw on Florida and 6th. And Kayla, your description of it, the reason why I've been unable to have it is because what you just said, everybody is looking for right now. Everybody wants to be among neighbors in wood, eating a fat burger, drinking a nice martini. I have tried to go. There was, I'm not kidding around, a line. I've never experienced a line for a dive bar. Part of me was like, DC, what's going on? That we're standing in line for a burger and a beer? Okay, I don't know. This burger must be tits and I want to find out what's going on.
I think dive bar is even maybe a bit of a stretch. It's honestly half restaurant, half bar. But I think it's interesting, Bridget, you raise a great point. I think it speaks to like how popular this new local dive is. Essentially, it speaks to how like this kind of trend I think that's going on, that people really, really appreciate that back to basics neighborhood vibe that we just haven't been getting as much of in the DC food scene recently, when it's like a lot of sort of Instagram first or New York transplant restaurants that have come into DC that don't have that same appeal. So I think the popularity of Eby's really speaks to how much people appreciate that and want that more.
Well, can I raise one note of skepticism? Like you're talking about the neighborhood vibe, but if you travel to a different neighborhood to go to a bar, it is by definition not a neighborhood vibe. or not your neighborhood.
I don't agree with that. Indeed, if you're talking about Brooklyn or LA, sure. If you're talking about DC, Columbia Heights to Shaw, that's basically my neighborhood. We're talking about, like, I could walk there. I would gently push back on that. In a city as small as DC, what does neighborhoody really mean?
I also think it's used more as like an adjective to describe a certain type of bar rather than this has the characteristics of Shaw or of Columbia Heights.
No, but I think what it means is like you are liable to run into people you know from the neighborhood there. And I guess any place that is so crowded, it just means there's lots of people. So the chance of one of them being your friend or neighbor is less. Maybe I'm with you, Bridget, that like if you can walk to a place, it's a neighborhood. But like as several stops up the Red Line resident, I would need to like engage in transportation to get
I guess
there, that would feel like I'm making a special trip in order to have what ought to be in a functional city an experience that's accessible to everyone, because everyone ought to have like a comfortable, cozy place in the neighborhood that they want to go to.
Yeah, a fat, juicy burger right in your neighborhood should be a God-given right.
So I had a meal at a brand new place in January. I hope other people have too. I went to Malabar, which is the new Ashok Bajaj restaurant. He's the guy who owns Rustica and a bunch of other local restaurants. It is a bit of like a sister or cousin restaurant to Rustica. Malabar is the name of the south west coast of India. So there's there's a bunch of seafood on the menu. There's also some of the original greatest hits of Rustica, the spinach chaat, for instance. But it's a nice room and it was pretty hopping when I was there.
Where is it, Mike?
But it does require a trip up the Red Line. It's right at the Van Ness UDC metro station.
Oh, okay. I actually hadn't heard of that. I feel like I keep pretty good track of these things, and I have not been.
He did a fairly quiet opening, but it's like it is a high end Indian restaurant with chefy spins on dishes. Some of them traditional, some of them not.
Yeah, sounds great.
It does sound really good.
What was the favorite thing you got?
I hate to say it, but I got the spinach chaat, which they also have in Rustica, and
it's
just
so
very hard.
Good. It's so
very
good.
hard to top that. But as an appetizer, I had the crab cake, Malabar crab cake. So that was sort of a Maryland by way of the Malabar coast, or maybe Malabar coast by way of Maryland, because I don't think crab cakes are part of the traditional Indian cuisine. But I loved it, and I had the ginger black cod with tamarind, which was super, super good too.
I feel like you're a good orderer. That's something I would never think to order, but if it showed up on a plate, I would be thinking, I want to eat that.
Well, so I think Indian food, Indian restaurant food, it's a little bit almost like, there's certain times when you go to a Chinese restaurant and you just want, the like sweet and sour pork or the General Tso's chicken or like some, it's like not sophisticated. It's a, I'm sure deeply bastardized dish that is, but that is just comfort food. And then you go to, an upscale, sophisticated Chinese restaurant, and you feel like sort of an idiot for ordering something so basic. I think some of the restaurant like Malabar, like Rustica, it has that kind of vibe. You can still get butter chicken on the menu, but there's just a lot of stuff that you can't get on most sort of storefront Indian restaurant menus. What are you eating this month, Kayla?
Yes. Okay. This is actually something I have not eaten yet, but that is mostly because it hasn't opened yet. It's Chef Carlos Delgado's. He's the chef behind Causa and Amazonia. It's called Marusan, and it's opening on February 20th. I'm almost sort of skeptical to give this info away because it's only a 25-seat counter. It's located in Eastern Market, and I think it's going to be absolutely packed. So, I'm giving up any chance of ever getting in, probably, but that's okay. But it's a Nikkei style hand roll bar. So Nikkei means it's a type of cuisine that exists in Peru that's heavily influenced by Japan. people sort of think of it as like, it's not a fusion, but has Japanese and Peruvian elements in it. So it'll be mostly sort of these cigar like size hand rolls with different types of, of fish, think sort of like ceviche type flavors. And it's going to be a more casual version. Obviously, California and Amazonia are both really upscale. This is going to be a little bit more casual. You can just come in for a few. It's a la carte. There's no reservations except for this one section that they're doing. They're blocking off a few seats every night for something they're calling the Maru Experience, which is basically a more fine dining tasting experience that they'll lead you through the whole menu. But I talked to Chef Delgado a couple days ago, and he basically just said to make sure you try as many of the hand rolls as possible and to come early in the day because they expect it to be quite busy.
Kayla's going to come back talking about how horrible it was just so that nobody goes.
Yeah, maybe don't trust anything I say, I guess. But I'm honestly, it's one of the restaurants I'm most excited for opening this spring, any month. So I definitely, I can't really recommend it, I guess, because I haven't been, but I'm excited to try it out, and I hope to see you guys also there.
It also just sounds exciting.
Yeah, if you look at the pictures too, it's like really dark and moody. It's small. It almost feels like a speakeasy kind of vibe. It's very like kind of romantic. I don't know.
Before we jump, one other thing I always like to ask in these episodes is like, what do you do every February? What's your, you're a local. What's your secret fave? Bridget, you mentioned doing Black History Month stuff. Is there anything else you got?
So I try to do something every February for Black History Month, kind of in honor of my parents, because it was so important to them. One thing I'm trying to do going forward is events that kind of take me out of my comfort zone that are not the kind of thing that I would usually do. So I'm very much looking forward to this thing that the organization DC Rawhide does. Have either of you done this? Kayla, you seem like maybe this is in your wheelhouse.
No, but I've seen it. I'm
a little frightened about where this may be going.
Okay, don't worry. It's PG. You know me. You never know what I'm going to suggest. So good instinct. But yeah, DC Rawhide is this line dancing organization, and they're really trying to make line dancing something that is gender inclusive, queer inclusive, just a fun way to get out and dance. I love dance. I love any kind of group physical expression. I love that kind of thing. And so I've never been line dancing. I once went to a honky tonk as part of a work trip in Texas, and we went to a line dancing bar, and it was a very cool thing. But I guess I would say I don't know that the vibes were super inclusive. It didn't feel like the kind of thing that was like, oh, anybody can just join. DC Rawhide, it sounds like they are really going out of their way to make line dancing something that everybody can do. And so they've got an event in Eastern Market on the 7th, and I think I'm going to check it out. I don't know. I've got some boots from the Cowboy Carter tour. I might get them out of retirement.
Use those. Yeah. Report back, Bridget. I've always been very curious. And they host events like every week. It's very popular. Yeah.
So mine's more like a not every February, but every 4th February thing, which is it's the Olympics this month, and and that's happening in Italy, not in DC. But I think one of the cool things about being in Washington D.C. because it is such an international city, because there's so many. I mean, obviously there's foreign embassies, there's the World Bank and IMF and all the people who work for them. But what this means is there's a lot of like weird watch parties, in addition to the stuff you can find at your neighborhood bar. Like if you Google it, you'll find like Latvian American Chamber of Commerce is hosting a screening of the U.S. versus Latvia hockey game, things like that. Which I just feel like it's a fun thing about Washington, and you sort of get to watch other enthusiasts cheer their teams. So that's like I don't know. That's a thing to explore. A lot of embassies do programming around events that their countries may traditionally be very excited about, and so on.
Do you get excited about the opening ceremonies?
No.
Okay. I have friends who throw me off a little bit where I find out, I take the opening ceremonies very seriously. They cause me to tear up. I'm like, oh, wow, I had no idea you felt this way.
No, I think a lot of the Winter Olympics seems pretty dumb to me. You know, like I heard there's only like 9 luge tracks on Earth that are like Olympic caliber. So like how many lugists really are there?
Think about all
So-
the luges out there that could be excellent, but would never know because they didn't grow up next to a luge track.
So right. So if we're talking about a global population of like, I don't know, 1,000 lugists, whatever it is, like how much of a big deal really is it to be the best of those?
I grew up in New England cross country skiing and ended up being quite good at it and going to like the Junior Olympics. And I tell people that.
What?
It's like a fun fact,
You've
right?
buried
Like,
the lead on us.
I went to the Junior Olympics, but it's exactly that thing, Mike, where it's like, okay, there's only a few hundred people in the world that do this sport. So it's really not very hard to like get to the level where you're going to like national events. So it always sounds very fun and impressive. And it was hard, but it wasn't like I was extraordinary, and it's not like there was that much competition.
Wait, were you doing the thing where you just ski or like where you had to like shoot guns?
Oh, the biathlon? No, I was doing just skiing. Yeah. But I actually do know quite a few people in the Olympics coming up. So that's fun.
Damn, I'm going to watch at Kayla's house.
Is this just me being a Black person who doesn't really do a lot of winter sports? Or am I to understand there is a sport where you ski and shoot a gun at the same time?
The
This is what you're telling me?
biathlon. Yeah.
I learn something new every day. This is the first I've heard that they're
Yeah, well, you should
shooting
watch it.
guns
It's actually
on skis.
it's actually a fun event to watch. I would recommend.
So do you still go cross country skiing in February?
I do.
Where do you go?
I do. I don't around here. My parents live in New Hampshire, so I mostly just go whenever I'm up there. I don't even own skis here because it's such a pain to get anywhere. But yeah, it's like the worse, harder version of downhill skiing. So.
Are they excited when you come back? Like a local Olympian has returned to visit?
No. There's no fame or money involved, I don't think, in the world of cross country skiing.
Well, I think you've got more Olympic cred than me and Bridget. Like,
Hell yeah.
I mean, I was like 14, so I don't think you should be really. No need to bow as you pass by. Don't worry.
it's been downhill ever since.
Yeah, truly.
Well, all right. I hope you guys have awesome Februaries.
Yeah, you too, Mike.
Yeah, you too. Happy February.
And that's all for today here on CityCast DC. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our morning newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with even more news from around the city. Bye.